31 days of Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. 31 days of Halloween in the spotlight. 31 days of Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. 31 days of Halloween in the spotlight. 31 days of Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. 31 days of Halloween in the spotlight.
Hi, I'm Kyle Pierson, and before we kick off today's episode of In the Spotlight, John asked me to recount an old Halloween memory. The one that I remember the most is the time that, even though I did not want to go trick-or-treating in 6th grade, I had friends that talked me into it. I did, and at the very end, after we had collected all the candy and we were on our way home, somebody ran by, grabbed my bag, and stole all my candy. So, thanks so much for bringing that up, John. Ass.
Hello, everybody. It's In the Spotlight. My name is John Horton.
And I'm Kyle Pierson, and welcome to a television edition. This week, we're going to discuss TV series that we thought ended prematurely. He's got 3, I've got 3, so together we'll have half a dozen different TV series that we thought left the air before they should. I'm going to start off with Better Off Ted. This only survived 2 seasons, I believe. I think on the ABC network. I'm not sure. It doesn't matter. Last I saw, you could see it on Netflix. But this is a workplace comedy. It's not Airplane style, but it's still it's a notch quirkier than The Office. And they invent some stuff, and it's these products that also throw a wrench in the plans of the people who work there. There's a love triangle. There's a lot of funny stuff that goes on, and they take some jokes, and then they're recurring jokes throughout the series, which I liked. And then just as it's really taking off, and I'm like, man, I can't wait to see what they're going to do next. They didn't do anything next. The show got canceled. It's very funny. It's got great performances, and I would really like to see a 3rd season, if you would, of Better Off Ted. John?
How old is Better Off Ted?
It's been like a decade or so.
Wow. I've never seen it.
Yeah.
I don't think I've heard of it either.
No, it's the good thing about this is I don't recall it having a cliffhanger. I think it was just, individual episodes. If I recall, I may be mistaken. But so it's a good one that you can just go and watch anytime. And the first couple episodes, the first one, I think I was like, this might go somewhere. And then the more I watched it, the more I got into it. So yeah, it's definitely something if you just have like 20 minutes or so to kill before bed, pop this on for a couple laughs.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go from the 3 that I picked out. I'm going to go from the one that lasted the longest and end on the one that ended the shortest.
Okay.
The one I got that lasted the longest, 22 whole episodes, Starman.
Yeah.
It is the televised sequel of sorts to the John Carpenter movie Starman, which starred Jeff Bridges. This one has Robert Hayes as the alien. He comes back to Earth to find his son and to find his love, Jenny. The original one, I'll just tell you a little bit about the movie. The movie had an alien coming to Earth. He took over the body of a human to learn about our species, and it's a really good flick. He travels the countryside with Karen Allen.
Yes.
I think it was Karen Allen.
Yeah, it was Karen Allen. Yes.
And throughout the course of their journey, they fell in love. Well, they got pregnant. She had a kid. He comes back when this kid is in his teens to reunite with his son. And the majority of it is the backstory is these two traveling and trying to stay away from the evil government that is trying to catch him and dissect him and lobotomize him and anally probe him and so forth and so on. But like a lot of TV shows back in the 80s, every episode was they find somebody that needs help and they help them. Like Sliders, like Quantum Leap, a lot of
Incredible
that same,
Hulk.
yeah, the Hulk. a lot of the same vibe. But this was Starman. Robert Hayes did a very good job. He was not as good as Jeff Bridges, but he fit the bill pretty well. And in researching this, I found out it was supposed to go for a second season, but it did not because the network that it was on put it in a shitty time slot against very popular shows. And also, even if it did last, Robert Hayes wasn't going to come back.
Really?
He said he was done with it, and they were going to actually, from what I read, they were going to have the photographer's body, who he's inhabiting, that supposedly died in the beginning. He's really alive, so the alien has to go into a new body to allow him to be reunited.
Think about that. They could continue the show on. That's one of the things I liked about that series was the fact that instead of him portraying Jeff Bridges, it was just another body. So yeah, so and then they also had the little spheres that did the power stuff. Yeah, I remember really liking that show, and I watched it, the entire series as well.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that about the plan with Hayes. But it's character wise, there's not a lot of depth. If he wants to play emotion, there really isn't any with that character. Right. So I could see why maybe he wasn't drawn to it, or he never was going to go beyond the first season to begin with. I don't know, but that's a good one.
I love that movie. The movie's great. I love the show. I wish it would have stuck around.
Yeah, and it's not a huge, it's not we're getting it. It's not a comedy, because most alien movies are either a comedy or they're an action adventure. And this was more of just a drama, a nice, interesting story. There was some action in it, but that wasn't the theme of it. So yeah, no, I agree with that one. That was really good. In a previous episode, I mentioned a television series from the 70s that I absolutely loved as a kid, and it got canceled one season too soon. So, Soap was a parody of both daytime and nighttime soap operas. Had Richard Mulligan is one of the funniest characters I think has ever been on TV. Burt Campbell, who his character at one point gets beamed into a spaceship, and they make a clone of him and send down, kind of like Starman. They send the clone down to learn more about Earth, and the clone hasn't had sex in 2,000 years, so he's excited about having sex with Bert's wife. And you've got Billy Crystal. That was the TV show that launched his career. He played Jody Dallas, who was a gay man who was considering a sex change, and it really kind of revolutionized television for that. In fact, when the series started, again, I believe it was ABC, put in, I believe anyway, put warning announcements in front of the show because one of the characters was a priest who falls in love, and that was actually the controversial part. Was a priest falling in love, on top of all the other bizarre things that happened in the show. And it was not only funny, because I mean, it was one of the funniest shows I've ever seen in my life. It's also had a lot of drama in there, and they found a very comedic way to talk to people about serious things. But some of these performances were just hysterical. And if you ever want to see the best half hour of TV ever, watch the pilot or the third season, episode 1. It is, well, maybe actually watch the final episode of season 2 just so you understand what's going on when you get to the first episode of episode 3. It is absolutely hysterical. And there, you will laugh the entire time. I absolutely love this show. It was on for 4 years. The 4th season was not as strong as the first 3. I grant you that, but it was also okay, here's where things are going wrong, and then we have to resolve everything in the final season 5. And people didn't like when things were going wrong, and they started jettisoning the show, and it did not get picked up for the 5th season, which was very, very unfortunate. But yeah, definitely check it out. There's actually on VHS. This is very strange about the show. If you get the DVDs or watch it streaming, it has every episode of the series except for two. There were two specials that took place in between season one and two, and between seasons 3 and 4. The first one, and they're both on VHS, is labeled Best Of. You can get the VHS of these episodes, but the DVDs of all the other episodes. It's very strange. But they were listed as Best Of episodes, and what they would do is just kind of catch you up on what had happened the previous season. The first special doesn't really matter because it really is a best of, and they're talking about, who really killed Peter Campbell. And they're going because somebody gets arrested for it, but Bert doesn't think that's who it actually did it. So he's talking to the person that goes to jail for it about who it could possibly be. So it doesn't really matter because once the season starts off, you're right back where you left off anyway. However, the second special, one of the characters dies at the end of the season. And during the special, they're talking about how crazy the family is in their life. And so they do all these flashbacks to all this crazy stuff. So while she's at the pearly gates, they're like, you know what? Second thought, we need to send you back. And then the new season starts. And she's alive. So if you watch on DVD, she dies. Next episode, she's alive. No explanation to how that happened. So if you've been wondering, that's what happened. But I haven't been able to find it on VHS. I haven't been able to find it on YouTube. The best of it might be there now, but I have the VHS. I've got the DVD, so I have the whole series. But most of this cast, this incredible stellar cast, has passed away. There's no reboot possible with this cast, and I think if they brought it back without them, it wouldn't matter anyway. But I would have loved to have seen a season 5 of Soap. Did you ever see it?
I watched some of it, not very much. I don't know why. The one thing that I can take away from it is the guy with the ventriloquist doll.
Yes,
That's the big
Chuck
one
and
that I
Bob.
remember.
Yeah. There's a bit of that I actually use in the class because I had to talk about the history of doll making, and I showed a clip where they blindfold the doll, and the ventriloquist is holding stuff in front of it, and the doll's guessing what it is accurately, and one of the guys just doesn't get it, and the woman's like, but he can see, and he goes, yeah, but he can't. It's like, oh my god. So yeah, it's classic. If you get a chance, check it on streaming. Again, they're 22 minutes long each episode, and it is absolutely hysterical. And if you don't want to, just jump right. If you don't laugh watching the two episodes I mentioned, the end of season 2 and the beginning of season 3, don't bother with the series. But if you do, go back to the beginning and watch it from the beginning. You'll laugh your ass off.
Well, next up on my side of the world, we have with 20 episodes. God, it died. They went away way too soon. If you like X-Files, this was the birth of X-Files, basically. Kolchak, the Night Stalker from the 70s. Kolchak is a reporter for a newspaper, the Associated Press and all that other shit. And week after week, some kind of supernatural, scary monster thing would be happening, and he'd be the one investigating it while nobody else believes it. They had things on there like zombies, they had vampires, they had a knight in shining armor, they had a headless motorcycleman. It's basically, like you said, it's basically the X-Files before the X-Files. It's in fact where Chris Carter got a lot of his inspiration for. And I absolutely loved this show. It was scary, it was creepy. Even now, for me, it still translates as scary and creepy because it was filmed in the 70s. For some reason, stuff in the 70s tends to be scarier than shit now. I don't know why, but it just does.
Yes, something about the 70s. I think maybe either the way they shot it or just watching it on our small TVs that were grainy and not
Yeah.
so high def. crap was spookier then. It really was. And yeah, everything just seemed like it was more authentic in the 70s.
Yeah, you watch like some of the made-for-TV movies, the horror ones, like oh God, the killer car. There was a killer car one. I think it was called The Car. and, and some of the spider movies and shit like that. They're just a hell of a lot creepier back then. Um, Kolchak, like I said, it gave me nightmares when I was growing up, and I relish. I still watch it today. I relish in every episode. They did a reboot that lasted less than 20 episodes, I think, but it doesn't have the same feel. It tried to make something. The original Kolchak was episode by episode. You could pick up at any episode and not have to know what happened before at all. They were all standalone 100%. The new one tried to make it, what do they call that?
Episodic.
Oh, yeah, episodic. There you go. That's the word I was looking for. And that's what the new one tried to do. And the actor, I don't remember what his name was for the remake. I didn't like him very much. What was interesting, though, is in episode one of the remake, they actually had computer generated the actor for Kolchak, Darren McGavin. They actually put him in an episode, just standing in the newsroom, leaning against something. So it was kind of cool. But
They did something similar to that with the reboot, the recent reboot of Twilight Zone, with the host of that, which
Rod Sterling.
yes, yeah, yeah, of course. And the thing about that reboot that was interesting, especially with season one, is you're watching all these episodes, and again, they're just one. You don't have to watch any of them in order until you get to the end, and then realize they actually do tie in to each other. And you're like, oh, and then Rod Serling's in it, and you're like, oh, okay. So that was kind of a cool little trick at the end. But I think some people gave up before they got that far, because I think there's only one more season after that. But I really started getting. I thought the episodes were getting better as it went, and I was kind of disappointed that show got canceled. But
Now,
yours, for years I've been wanting to watch that show because I've heard great things about it for decades, and I have never seen a single episode of
oh
it.
my God.
What's it on? Is it on any of the? It's got to be on Tubi or somebody.
Eh, let me take a look. And while I'm looking, 9% battery power.
All right. Well, we'll just pop it up on the top of the screen here.
Yeah.
And you can look at that up. Yeah. So
I will mention too, one of the episodes had the guy that played Jaws from the Bond movies,
Oh, I thought you
Richard
meant
Kiel.
from the shark.
Yeah,
It's got,
not
it's
that
got the shark.
not that
From
goddamn
Jaws in it.
Jaws. That's right. You don't like the Bond flicks, do you?
No, I do like. I just 2 nights ago finished watching the entire first. From Connery all the way to Brosnan, every single one in order for the first time, including Never Say Never Again. I threw that in there. I I like Bond. I don't love Bond. I like Bond because my problem with Bond is this: when you're writing Bond and you get stuck somewhere, you're like, oh crap, I need to come up with a device that gets him out of here that I can have Q give him earlier on, and then that takes care of that. And that's pretty much how the entire series of films go. But when they made the new ones and they really didn't do gadgets at first, I'm like, how is this Bond? I need gadgets. So I was, I'm torn between, but the newer ones, I really like the Pierce Brosnan ones. I like those a lot.
Yeah.
And I like Roger Moore. Those are my two favorites. I know Sean was the original ones, but when I'm watching those stories, I was like, it's, sex with a girl, shark. sex with a girl, alligator. Sex with a girl, shark. Like, come on, man. This is, but I love the character Q. But that was the thing. I'm like, you know what? And that's what I really liked about the very last Pierce Brosnan one was he was caught for 14 months, and I'm like, okay, see, it wasn't just he's able to get out of this easy. He has to figure out another way out.
Yeah.
And I wish they would have continued that because I thought they had a new direction already going before they decided, okay, we need another new direction. So that's another series I think ended prematurely, at least
Yeah.
as far as actors go. So anyway, back to the TV series. Um, this one I only bring up because I already talked about soap, and there's another, oddly enough, soap opera series that died prematurely. This one's called Dropping the Soap. It is a web series that was only one season long, and because it's a web series, I think one of the episodes was less than 9 minutes long. You can
Wow.
watch the entire series, and it's just shy of feature length. It's free on a lot of the digital devices or services. I saw it free originally on Vudu. They had this thing where if you watch a Christmas special, any Christmas special, you got $2 gift certificate for something. So I watched it. It was 8 minutes long, and I'm like, okay, I'll just sit through this 8 minute soap opera just to get $2. And
$2.
it's for $2, and I laughed my ass. I'm like, I got to watch this from the beginning. So I went back and watched them, and it is so funny. And this one isn't a soap opera. This is about a cast of soap opera actors who their real life is more soap opera-y than the soap opera that they're on. And they start getting on each other's nerves and pissing each other off. And there's another love triangle. So they start talking to the writers about, okay, well, screw this person. So write it so that they're a mute now and they can't talk anymore. So they do these funny things. And Jane Lynch is in it. She actually won an Emmy for it. And it's got this incredible cast of characters, actors, actresses, and it doesn't really have a cliffhanger, but they kind of drop a bomb at the end of the season so that you want to see more of it. And there isn't any. And I actually tweeted that. I was like, it was like 2 or 3 years after it was already off the air, and I'm like, man, I had just started on Twitter, and it was one of the first things I tweeted about. I'm like, man, why isn't there more seasons of this? And Jane Lynch actually replied to my tweet saying, I don't know who this Kyle is, but I like him, or something like that. So I'm like, okay, there we go. So I'm like, all right, I guess I'm on the right platform.
There you go.
But definitely this is a very, very funny series that literally you can watch in, I think it's like 90 minutes. And
Wow.
it just gets quirkier and quirkier. And I believe it's free on all those services. There's ads in them, but it doesn't take too much. I think it's like one ad per episode, maybe. I don't know. But check it out if you get the chance because it is very, very funny.
I have never heard of this one, never seen it. Obviously, if I've never heard of it, I've never seen it. Didn't they have didn't they just recently do another one like that where it was the not a soap opera people, but like a sitcom where it went off the air and then they brought all the original actors back to redo it, and that was the premise of the show. It was like a behind the scenes.
Oh, Beverly Hills 90210 did that. It was called 90210, and it
Oh,
was
wow.
about them coming back to do I didn't see it, so I might
Right,
be incorrect, but I think that's how my wife described it. She said it's not a continuation of the show; it's about the people from the show bringing the show back, or something like that. Uh,
right.
if there's a sitcom, I'm not sure which one it would be.
Yeah, it was a sitcom. I don't even think I think it was on like one of the paid streaming networks. 'Cause I started watching it. I never went that far with it. I almost feel like there's a monkey in it in the beginning, in like the backstory. Like
Friends had a monkey in it, but that's
what's
definitely
that?
not coming. Friends had a monkey when it started,
Nope,
but
that's not it.
yeah, I was gonna say it's not that. BJ and the bear
No,
had a
no, it
monkey.
was a fictional show because the monkey
So
like
was
went on
that.
a rampage and killed everybody and killed someone on the show.
Well, that
So
was
it's a,
Nope. That was the premise to the movie. No, Nope. There was
when
they
did
were
that come
doing a
out?
show in the show Nope. In the movie Nope, there was a TV show, but the monkey went crazy and killed the people on the show, and somehow I don't remember that actually tying into the rest of the movie. I think about it. I remember at the time thinking, what the hell does that have to do with this? I remember at the time thinking, what the hell does that have to do with this? Other than somebody from that ends up in the audience. I don't know, I saw it twice. You'd think I'd remember it. But I guess
Yeah, I
nope,
don't.
I do not. Is that what you're
Nope,
thinking?
no, nope.
So
'Cause
nope on
it
nope
wasn't a
on
movie; it
nope.
was like episodes. It was like, fuck. I'm gonna look it up. I'll try to research it and find it and put a fucking trailer in this goddamn
Wait,
thing.
is it the show episodes with the guy from Friends? We're so terrible at this. Matt LeBlanc, whatever. He had a TV show called Episodes. Was that what you're?
I don't
There's
know.
also extras with Ricky Gervais that had. It was about a sitcom. Extras that met these because they'd always have a special guest star on every episode, but there was the special guest star was always never what you thought they would be like. Like they have Patrick Stewart on, and he keeps talking about all these scripts he's written, and every script that he's talking about, at some point he talks about how everybody takes their clothes off, and then they have one with the Harry Potter, Daniel Radcliffe, and he keeps trying to hit on all the women. Yeah, and it's and yeah, it's every episode you bring somebody on and they're the exact. Ben Stiller is just a complete asshole and he yells at everybody, and I mean it's every episode is they do this, so
Right.
it's not that either, right?
No, no.
Okay,
I
okay,
will research it and I will fucking find out.
all right, Ben, put
Or
that across the top.
before the end of the week, before this video before this video comes out, I will have it.
Well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants.
So what's your last year, or did you already? Or I've lost track.
No, not yet. I've still got one.
Okay,
But there's
good.
something else I wanted to say.
Okay, I'm
Fuck,
sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you in your train of thought.
No, you spurred it on with the Ben Stiller and Daniel Radcliffe. Radcliffe. Have you ever seen the show Holliston by
No, I've never heard
fuck.
of that.
It was on some kind of cable network. It was really fucking funny. It was Adam Green, the guy who does the Hatchet movies.
No,
Really fucking funny. And this is not my pick,
rarely.
but yeah, he's a big horror guy. And it's got all kinds of they'll have horror guests in there. One time they had fucking Danielle Harris in the episode. And I don't remember what the setup was for it, but she was like riding on top of Adam Green, not naked, but riding on top of him in a sexual way, wearing the fucking Michael Myers mask. It's a fucking funny show. You gotta look that up. It's
What's
fucking
it?
funny.
Halliston?
Holliston.
Holliston.
Yep.
Okay,
I'll
I'll look
put
it
that
up.
one down there too, but or somewhere on the screen. Hang on. Hollis done.
You know, people, we do prepare these episodes. We go through a lot of trouble to make them as professional as possible, and then we start talking, and the whole thing goes to hell in a handbag.
Oh, that fucking works now, doesn't
Yeah,
it? Can you
yeah,
see?
yeah. I see a big white blob.
Oh, maybe you ought to get some Kleenex. You stepped right into that one.
I know it.
All right, my
And then you wiped it across your face.
all right. This went off the fucking tracks real fucking quick. Um, last
Oh
one
my
I
God.
have 7 fucking episodes. And this one killed me so much. I missed work to finish watching an episode of this that we had taped the night before. Stephen King's Golden Years. Ever hear of it? No?
No, I know the song.
Well, it had the fucking song as the theme. Golden Years was about a janitor at one of those high-tech, deep secret government research facilities, kind of like the shop that kidnapped Firestarter and the same people that are the main bad guys in the Institute that's on Apple Plus. It's one of those type of things. It's this
Okay.
covert organization that's doing all these testing. Well, this nice old man janitor walks in to one of the rooms as they're experimenting, and he gets hit with all this radiation shit or all this gamma rays or whatever the fuck it is. Goes home and wakes up, goes home to his wife, and wakes up the next morning a little bit younger. Now, the agency figures out that he got nailed with this shit. Now they want him. They want to find out what he knows, what happened to him as the season progresses. They discover that, he's got some shit going on with him. We need to find out what the effect this had on him. And it's basically him on the run with his elderly wife, trying to keep away from these government agents. He's getting younger day by day. His poor wife is, of course, staying old and elderly. It was such a good cliffhanger after cliffhanger show. I loved it so much. Like I said, I missed a day's worth of work so I could finish. I was late. I didn't miss a whole fucking day. That'd be
What
dumb.
excuse? What excuse did you use? That
I used a good one because it got me out the hook. Not like that time that I had to call off of work to go to fucking AMC theater with Jamie to film her little thing for remember that? We'll talk about that later.
remember that at all.
Yeah, I got in trouble for at work for that shit. We'll hit that in a
I
few
remember
minutes.
that. I didn't know you got in trouble.
Oh yeah, they got
But
because
yeah, I
they fucking
remember going
called
the
my
other side.
house after we'd left to go to the AMC to film her interview with the projectionist or whatever. They called my fucking house, and my parents were like, "No, he went out." Okay. I think I actually got suspended without pay for that for like a week. Yeah.
Uh,
But anyway, back to Golden Years. This ended at 7 episodes. The studio, apparently, I don't know if it was bad ratings or what exactly it was, but the studio said, "You're done. We're not sinking any more money into this. It's canceled." Stephen King wrote most of the screenplay. He says, "Give me a little bit more money so that we can finish this properly." And they said, "No, no, finish it up. You're done." So he ended the series with the old man disappearing, glowing from the inside out and disappearing. And that's it. That's your ending. Stephen King says, "Fuck you." There's your fucking ending.
wow.
So we never know what happened to the old man. Pissed
No,
me
when
off.
was this? Oh yeah, because that's had to have been 1990-ish. Then because
I'll
that's
put it,
when I worked at the theater.
I'll put it,
89.
you know what's a bitch? I was going to put the years on all of this shit. And I was like, we're not going to talk about what year it came out. Thanks a lot, Kyle. I'll put
Yeah.
it on here when I put the title up. But yeah, it's
Uh,
no, it was not the 90s. It was back in the 80s, late
oh
80s,
yeah.
because
Well,
we're
well,
in,
because we only did that show from 88 to, or that class 88 to 90. So
yeah.
yeah, it had to be late 80s. Interesting. I don't
It's a-
remember you talking about it then.
yeah,
So
I don't know
that's
why I
weird.
didn't. It was a great
Interesting.
show.
Wow. Well, we've got a special feature that we're going to add for all the episodes leading up to the holiday season, because I know it's Halloween now, but Christmas is coming up, and we want to do a big countdown for the big movie of the season. So I'd like to launch the Anna countdown to Anaconda.
Oh, for fuck's sake! You son
In
of a
12
bitch.
weeks, we will see Jack Black and Paul Rudd on the big screen attempting to remake what John believes is one of the greatest horror films of all time, Anaconda. Your friend, by the way, Joey Webb, commented on the video and said he sided with me.
I know, fucker.
So thank you very much, Joey. So at the end of every episode, we're going to count this down for the big reveal. So I hope maybe we John and I can fly somewhere and go to the screening on December 25th. It'll be our Christmas present to each other. Anaconda.
Dream on.
For John
I
Horton,
am the editor,
what?
right? And the editor controls the way the story goes.
Oh, by the way, I keep saying this. I never said it publicly. We need to publicly thank John Horton. He does all the editing. Him and I talk beforehand to try to come up with what we're going to do. We throw some ideas back and forth. For the most part, just about every idea we come up with, we think we're going to use at some point, just because we're going to keep trying to do this as much as possible. But once it is done, I do this effect. Whatever you see right here on my screen, I do that. Everything else that happens on this is all the work of John. He edits it. He takes out the awkward pauses, the mistakes, the bloopers. Sometimes we leave a lot of those in because it's probably more interesting than our actual discussion. But he's the one that actually edits this whole thing. So I just wanted to thank you, because I know you have a lot of work to do after the end of these episodes, and they always look beautiful. And I know you use AI to put the beginning sequences, at least some of them, together with the songs, because we can't hire anybody. Don't hire that new AI actress. She's people don't like her.
That's not
But
sad.
it's either him get an AI person singing, or him and I sing. And that's really our only option, because every dime that we spend on the show, we don't have any sponsors. We don't make any money from this whatsoever. It's just us. So he does an AI little singy songy thing at the beginning that's fun. What the hell am I doing? And but yeah, beyond that, it's all, and he writes it, he edits that all together. And so thank you so much for doing all of that and trying to make this hodgepodge of a show somewhat professional and respectable.
Respectable.
And now keep my damn end. I'm doing this all the way up there. You made such a stink about this movie. I'm gonna do all I can to support it, and I better not be disappointed in 12 weeks when Anaconda arrives in theaters.
Son of a bitch. Why'd I even mention that? God damn it.
You're the one that made us put the video up. This is your fault.
It is.
It is.
Everything's my fault.
But it is, damn it.
I got him in trouble so many times in high school.
Which led into college, by the way. I got in trouble in college because it started with you, and then I remember I said some things to instructors I shouldn't have. I was a smart ass. Well, I was really getting, college isn't all it was cracked up to be. So, anyway, for John Horton, I'm Kyle Pierson. Thanks for watching In the Spotlight.